Greetings! This is the Clarinet Sidekick video for page 12, First Notes and Songs. Page 12, First Notes and Songs. Alright, now, on this page, we have 3 notes. This page shows us what those notes look like, describes where they are on the staff, tells us what holes to cover. We see a picture here showing us what holes to cover. Alright, and then Hot Cross Buns is doing these notes in the right order, in the right way to make a song. Okay, and we also have a little start every note tip right there that we got to talk about. So, starting off, first we have staff going across the page here. And we see this first note called E, alright, is a circle. Circles on a staff are notes. Those are what the notes are. Circles on a staff, alright. So this circle has the bottom line going through the center of it. So we say that this note is on a line, okay? That's why we say that. That's on a line. This note doesn't have a line going through it, so we say that's on a space. Line, space. Line, space. Now this one's not on the staff, but they still have a line going through it because it's got a line. It's still on a line. But we had to add this line, and that's called a ledger line. Ledger line. So this is a line, space, and that's on a ledger line. Okay? So the bottom line of the staff going through the center of the circle, that makes that note an E. Alright? Bottom line of staff. That's a little description, if you're better at descriptions than visuals. Alright? Then you see T1. T1. T stands for thumb. 1 stands for your first finger. T1. So, on the clarinet, we have thumb, the right thumb, okay, underneath the register key. And then, see where it says number 1 in a circle there, okay? That's where your first finger presses down. And we wrote over here that that's where E is, okay? So you need the thumb and the first finger down to make that E, all right? If you're not covering up both those holes, you won't get an E. Okay, now, the most common mistake I see is people will press those holes and then let go and blow, okay? Because you press the hole doesn't mean the holes will stay covered when you let go. You need to cover up those holes with the pads of your finger, pad of your thumb, and pad of your first finger, and keep those 2 holes covered, and then blow. Nothing else will be pressed, but don't take your fingers all the way away. Okay, keep them nearby. Don't press any of these side keys. There's side keys all around. Don't press any of those. If you're holding the clarinet up here, you're probably pressing one of these side keys or one of the other keys down here. All right, so it's important that you're on the tip of the thumb holding it, and that this part of your hand here is far away from the clarinet, but your fingers are still near the holes. Okay, so we are covering up the thumb hole. Sometimes people make the mistake of covering up the thumb hole with the side or the tip of their thumb instead of the pad. Sometimes people bump the register key. You have to cover up the thumb hole without bumping the register key or any other keys. And you have to also cover up the first hole without bumping any of the other keys. Your left hand is on top, right hand is on bottom. All right? Then you show good posture, good embouchure, and you blow, starting the note with a thu. You get... Okay? And rest position. So thumb and first finger make an E. All right? Now, let's skip down to where it says start every note. It says touching the tip of your tongue to the tip of the reed. In your mouth, it's like saying thu. So you're still always touching the tip of your tongue to the tip of the reed to start every note. Thu, okay? So, next note, D, is on the space below the staff. It says space below staff. And then you see T1, 2. T is for thumb. 1, 2. So you need all three of these fingers down. Your thumb, first finger, and second finger are all pressing and covering up their holes. Okay? So some people are like, well, this is E, this is D. And then they don't cover up the other holes because their second finger's down. We'll say sometimes your D finger. They're like, why isn't it making a D? Because all these fingers have to come down. Okay, so thumb, 1, and 2 are all covering up the holes. And you go touch your tongue going through to the tip of the reed. Okay. Then C, bottom line, one ledger line below the staff says T1, 2, 3. So we need thumb, 1, 2, and 3 all down. Remember that your first finger and second finger are farther separated than your second and third. Okay. Remember to use the pads of your fingers, not the tips or the sides. All right. Remember to be holding it properly in the right spot with your thumb. That your right hand's underneath. Your left hand's the one covering up the thumb and first three fingers. All right. And same problem. Sometimes people will go E, then they'll lift those fingers and switch to their second finger to play D, and then they'll lift that finger and switch to the third finger to play C, and that won't work. Okay? You need thumb and 1 down to make an E. You need thumb 1 and 2 down, all 3 down to make a D, and then thumb 1, 2, and 3 down, all your fingers on your left hand down to make a C. Okay? It can't just be 1 and switching. Okay? You're adding fingers. Okay? So you have your E fingers, thumb and 1. Add the second finger, makes a D. Add the third finger, makes a C. So let's practice going between E and D. We're going to keep our thumb and first finger down the whole time. We're going to touch the tip of the tongue to the tip of the reed and start a second note with D by pressing that down and then going through. Then take away that finger and then go through again. So you're going to go through, 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 through. Okay? Okay, I'll do it again. It's going to go through, 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 through. Okay, I'm kind of turning sideways a little so you can see my fingers from a better angle and see that they're going up and down. All right, now let's do the same exercise going from D to C. So we're going to have thumb 1 and 2 down for D. We're going to add the third finger for C. So we're going to go D, C, D, C, D. D, C, D, C, D. Through at the beginning of every one of those notes. Here we go. I'll do it again. Okay? Now, if you can't do that yet, pause the video. Work on it. Come back to this video and start over and get to the spot and then go on when you can get past that particular skill. All right? To be able to do hot cross buns, which you're going to be getting into, you're going to need to be able to do that. Okay? Now, one of the things that'll help, is to do it in front of a mirror. If you can do it in front of a mirror, you can see your fingers and whether they're covering up the holes. So if you don't cover up the hole properly, when you're adding fingers or taking fingers away, then it won't work. But if you look at your fingers, it definitely won't work. So how can you look at fingers and still face forward? A mirror. Okay, so a mirror will definitely help. All right. You can probably use the camera on your Chromebook. All right. So you can have the camera on in your Chromebook, and that way you can see yourself while you're doing it and angle it so you can see your fingers. Okay. So instead of having to look, you can see your fingers that way. That might help you start controlling it and finding the right spot. But you've got to master an E, you've got to master a D, you've got to master a C, and then being able to switch between those notes. Now, there's one pattern we haven't switched between yet, and that's E to C. E has thumb and 1 down, and C has thumb 1, 2, and 3 down. So to go to E to C, we need to add both fingers So all the fingers are down to the C, and then take these two fingers away, lifting them up to go back to the E. So we're going to go E, C, E, C, E. So that's the next step, okay? Once you can do the E, D, E, D, E, and D, C, D, C, D, then we're going to try going E, C, E, C, E, okay? That's the next level of difficulty. Here we go. I'll do it again. Okay, so once you can do all that, you're ready for hot cross buns. Okay, so feel free to pause the video if you need to, work on those things, practicing them every day until you can do them, and then worry about hot cross buns. Hot cross buns, we now have specific notes that we're supposed to do. Now, I don't want you to try and memorize hot cross buns and do it from memory. Every time a student does that, they play hot cross buns wrong in front of me. Every time. And I tell them that they got to fix it by looking at it, and then they don't look at it and play it wrong again. All right? I get that every year from so many students, okay? You should look at the notes and be trying to read them and see the notes in the order. Don't try to memorize the order, because chances are you'll do something wrong, okay? And I'm going to notice. I'm going to hear that it's wrong, all right? So you got to do the right notes in the right order. So you see in the first line here of hot cross buns, it says E dash D dash C, a whole lot of dashes. Okay, so let's make the E a long note, a D a long note, and that C a really, really long note. Still start thu at the beginning of every note. And it's going to be E to D to C. So we go like this. Okay, see if you can do that. If you can't, patience, pause the video, come back to it when you're ready. Totally fine, all right? If you can, go ahead to look at the next line. And the next line, if you look at it, is the same thing. Oh, wow. All right, so we do that twice. All right, here we go. Okay, so far so good. Now, we see 4 C's in a row, no spaces, all right? No dashes, no anything. So we got to go C, 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 C. Well, the first mistake I see people doing when they play C, 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 C is they decide that they have to lift their fingers and bring it down for every C. You do not. You can keep your C fingers down, covering up those holes, and you can just blow one breath and go thu 4 times. Thu, 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 thu. Thu, 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 thu. Okay? You do not need to go thu, 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 thu. Okay? That would sound like this. No. Keep it down and go. All right? In one breath. Don't breathe in between. Don't do this. No. Don't go hoo, 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 hoo. You're going to go in one breath. Thu, 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 thu. Okay? It's one breath. Kind of like when you say the word syllable. The word syllable has 3 syllables in it. You don't go syllable, right? You go syllable in one word. Okay, one breath. So think of it like one word. Thu, 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 thu. All C's. Then we have 4 D's. So we got to remember to pull away a finger without... Now, once again, I see some people pull all the fingers away and then bring the D fingers down. Don't do that. You just lift the C finger and keep the fingers down that are for the D. So after the 4 C's, you go to the D's. I'll do it again. Okay, 4 C's, then 4 D's. All right, and then the last line is the same as the first 2 lines. You'd be surprised at how many times I see people play the first 2 lines perfectly and the third line perfectly and then mess up that last line, even though they already did it twice. All right? It happens. It's weird because it's in a different place. It feels a little weird. It's one of the pluses of looking at it, because where you're looking at the page sometimes is what the cause of that is, and you got to practice looking and doing it right. All right, so let's try to play all of it. It sounds like this. and then you put your instrument down. Usually after you're done playing a song, keep the instrument up and pause. Just don't blow into it. All right? And then after we're done with the song, there's like a pause, and then everybody goes to rest position and listens to Mr. Archie. Okay? So it's typical to be in rest position, have me tell everyone, hey, we're going to play. Get yourselves in ready position. You get ready. I'll tell you when to play. 1, 2, ready, go. We play the song, and then when you're done, you pause, and then put it into rest position. Okay? Don't forget your left hand has to be on top, and your right hand has to be on bottom. That's your left hand over there, and that's your right hand over there. Okay, don't be confused that I'm playing at you like that, because if I was facing the other way, you'd see that the hands are in the correct place, but it looks different because I'm on the opposite sides of you, because I'm facing you. All right? So remember, your left hand's on top, right hand's on bottom. Good luck. Practice, practice, practice. Practice. Let's talk a little bit about practicing. Okay? You need to play it over and over. Now, you're going to make mistakes. Here is what not to do. Okay? What I'm going to do wrong here is every time I make a mistake, I'm going to react to that mistake in a way with a big pause. Show you. Oh, man. Oh. What was that? Oh, my gosh. Okay. I forgot to put my fingers down. All right. So you see how I put a big pause in between each attempt. And that isn't practice. That's not repetition. What that is a total restart. That's where your brain, like, you just stop it and then you start over. And that isn't the same effect as practicing. Practicing is trying and immediately trying and immediately trying over and over and over. Now I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to react to them correctly. All right? Now, never once did I play that song correctly, okay, in that whole example, all right? I did tons of mistakes, but I just kept repeating. Sometimes I started the line over. Sometimes I just tried to repeat the note that I wasn't getting until I found my right fingerings to get it right. Sometimes I played a wrong note and just immediately started that line over. Sometimes I just fixed that one note and kept going. But it was constant. I was constantly going through it. And it even ended not perfect. I didn't exactly get it right. But that's what practicing is. And it's going to take you doing that for a half hour a day, every day, to train your body past this stuff. All right? So you got to practice through it, is how we say it. Practice through the exercise. So you're going to constantly be repetitive without big pauses, no big reactions, no getting angry with yourself. Okay? Just try again, try again, try again, try again. Eventually, you're going to find out with that constant repetition, your brain will pick up what it is that's wrong, fix it, and it'll pick it up quicker when you make that mistake again and fix it quicker. And eventually, it'll anticipate the mistake and get it right the first time. It's how your brain works, okay? And that's how practice works. So you got to be very repetitive, all right? So practice, practice, practice every day. Be trying to practice this and trying to get used to your E's, D's, switching between E's and D's and C's, switching between your D's and C's, switching between your E's and C's, and then being able to try and play this all with a proper tonguing and everything. It's quite complex. It's a lot of work, okay? in a month from now, this will be like the easiest thing in the world to you and you won't feel complex. But it does feel complex now. Take your time, practice, 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 push through it. You'll get it, okay? I promise you, you will get it. Okay? Just got to have patience and practice. Good luck with it, and of course, may the force be with you.